welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra. With me is Shail Patnagar, and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. Well, it's the expiry session of the April F&O series, but it's panning out to be a stupendous one. The Nifty is above 22,620 right now. A very strong move is being seen on this one, 215 points higher in trade. Sectorally, the sharp contribution coming in from PSU banks, that's now up. The index is now nearly up by 4%, and a large part of it is thanks to SBI, which is now trading at record levels, up 4% and has crossed the 800 mark as well. A very strong move also in the broader market. So the small caps are up by 0.8%. Apart from the PSU banks, amongst the other sectors, it's the pharma index that's up 1.5%. Strong move being seen in the auto space, that's up by 1%. And most of the sectors are gaining anywhere between 0.3 to 0.7% odd in trade, and that's largely led by PSU banks today. Barring the realty and the consumer durables, rest of the sectors are all sharply higher in trade. Among the top movers on the Nifty, you do have Axis Bank that continues to hold the top spot, 5.8% higher. SBI follows next, 5% higher, now at 812. Dr. Reddy's, ICICI Bank and Nestle are the other big movers on the Nifty right now. Share.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a day to rejoice. The Nifty's kept its best for the last. As far as the F&O expiry is concerned, we are having the best day on the Nifty today. Remember, till session started today morning, the Nifty was down 0.3% in the April expiry, and now it's ending in net positive, and it's doing it in extreme style. Of the 50 shares on the Nifty, we have about 35 which are showing a build-up of long positions. When it comes to short covering, that's another 2. So 33 plus 2, 35 plus 2, 37 stocks out of 50 on the index future are now in very strong trajectory, and that is the reason why you see 22,613. Remember, in the morning we had picked up a call which was 22,400 call for the weekly expiry of May 2nd. The option was picked up at about 140 rupees. I'll request the PCR to show it on air. You are seeing it at 130 rupees. So the money has more than doubled, and ladies and gentlemen, the party has just started. Remember, we will be looking for an all-time high on the Nifty somewhere in the first week of the May F&O expiry, and that will make this call all the more powerful. Now this option has turned into a future because in the money, therefore the amount of rise on the Nifty in terms of points will be reflected in an equal measure on this particular call. What else is booming? It's the banks. Sakshi has mentioned SBI already. That's doing phenomenally well, record high. We have a digit change in SBI, and actually the power show has been led by ICICI by Bank. A very strong set of numbers coming in before after markets shut yesterday. The counter 6% higher, 1127. We'll be seeing a record high on this stock also in the very recent future. And apart from State Bank of India, Axis Bank, it's the PSU banking sector which has done a whole host of smart gains. When you look at the entire banking pack in terms of volume gainers, you have Axis Bank showing 3x volume, State Bank of India showing 2x volume, Bank of Baroda showing 1.4x volume, and these gains are all going to translate into strong bout of very good highs in the market. So record high on State Bank of India. Axis Bank is headed that way. The only accident for today, ladies and gentlemen, is Kotak Mahindra Bank. Remember, it started at the first lower circuit, 10% after a series of regulatory steps initiated by the regulator RBI, and that is the only pain point. We will discuss about Kotak Bank a little more. It's now slipped 11% lower, 1630, and when you look at the volume, it is about 9,500 shares. Despite Kotak, the mood across the Lal Street, Sakshi, is of extreme exuberance. All 19 shares and indices that we track are in the green. Sakshi.
All right. Apart from the banking space, it's the pharma space as well that's been buzzing, especially led by Sun Pharma. That's now up by about 2.2% higher in trade, and a very strong move is being seen on this stock in trade today. It's now inched towards the high point of the day as well. Yes, it's 15.18 right now. A very strong move can be seen on this. Apart from this, Dr. Reddy's and Nestle together are also gaining ground. Remember, both the companies have done a tie-up to sell more vitamins as well. So that's a bit of news that's been pulling both these stocks higher as well. So we'll be keeping an eye out on this too. Nestle after the earnings, of course, here the profits have beat estimates too. The earnings factor needs to be considered. Revenue also has beat estimates, and this joint venture that's been announced with Dr. Reddy's is also something that's been pulling up for both these stocks as well. We'll be getting a guest very shortly to give us his comments on the kind of mood that we are seeing on this one as well. Along with this, the F&O space is a buzz with Vodafone Idea that continues to hold up 8.5% higher after the successful listing of its FPO, and 14.05 is what the last price is currently as far as the stock is concerned. MCX is another one that's been buzzing very sharply in the F&O space, 8% higher. And a very strong move can also be seen on Bharat Forge that started its move in the morning trade and has continued towards the closing as well. The stock is now up about almost 7.9, almost inching towards the 8% mark as well. Along with this, we also have Aditya Birla Capital and Piramal Enterprises, Bank of Baroda. These are the kind of stocks that are on the move. Let's now welcome our guest on the show. Swati Hotkar joins in, AVP Technical Research at Nirmal Bang. Swati, let me first ask you your comments on SBI, the strong move that we are seeing on this one. 4% uptick, record high levels. Where do you see the stock headed now?
Yes, you have rightly pointed out that we have seen a very good momentum rally into the SPI. The weekly chart shows that the stock has given the formation breakout of the flat pattern formation. Also, the interesting point is that the momentum indicators such as the RSI showing a positive crossover even on the in the oversold zone in the overbought zone area. I believe this kind of a rally is likely to be extended towards at least 840 to 880 levels on the high side. So those who have the long positions, they can definitely hold on as long as 780 is acting as a very crucial support level. So as long as it stays above that level, one can definitely hold a long position for immediate target of 840 to 880 levels on high side.
Okay. Right. Swati, apart from this, which are the other stocks that you are really looking at in the markets today?
See, IEX looks very good on the technical front. We have seen that since 2022, the stock was under the selling pressure. We have seen the correction from almost 250 to 125 levels. And after such kind of a correction, stock has made a formations of a double bottoms nearby 125 to between the 130 levels. And from there onwards, it has showing a positive crossover. Now, I believe on the technical front, it is coming out from the this particular downside trend, and it's moving on the higher side. So also the interesting fact on the line chart, weekly chart, the stock has given the breakout of the inverse head and shoulder pattern formations. So I believe that we are likely to witness some more positive momentum in the coming few trading sessions, which might take the stocks towards to 175 to 180 levels. So this stocks looks interesting on the technical front. By maintaining a stop loss of a 150, one can go for a long positions for immediate target of 170 to 180. Second interesting counters looks good positive. That is on the. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Another interesting point on
Yes,
the
ma'am, you're audible. Please continue.
Yes, on the mid cap sector, Zaggle looks very good on the technical front. This is the new counter, new listed counter currently trading at 298 to between 300 level. Why I have selected this particular counter? Into a start of the 220 in 2024, we have seen a very good spectacular rally from almost 250 to 390 levels, and from there onwards, we have seen the 50% retracement in this particular counter. Now it has formed the very crucial support level at around 270 levels. Now it has came above the golden also, and the retracement has been completed. So I believe that we are likely to witness a positive momentum in this particular stocks, which might take a counter to back towards to 340 to 350 levels. Currently it's trading at 298. One can go for a long positions at the current market price by maintaining a stop loss of a 280 for a target of 340 to 380 levels on high side.
Right. Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to you, Swati. It's always such a pleasure to speak to you, not only on air but off air as well. Let's look at the banking sector. We need to pause here a bit because you see, it's the end of the April expiry, and on all probable accounts, we are headed for a record high in the first week of May. Now, let's get to stocks that will drive the Nifty and Bank Nifty to their eventual logical new peak. Your view on Axis Bank, top gainer on the Nifty, very strong earnings tailwind. What are the medium term charts for Axis Bank telling you?
Yes, Selji, this particular counter is really doing very well since 2021. From the last 3 years, continuously the stock is trading in an upward rising channel. And also the interesting fact that on the monthly chart from the last 6 months, we are witnessing that the stock is very strictly consolidating within the range of 900 to 1100. Now it's on the verge of on the breakout. If the Bank Nifty gives a very good rally on the high side, this particular counter will quote a new high towards at least minimum 1300 to 1400 targets I'm looking for the next 6 months as such. Whereas on a downside, 1000 is acting as a very crucial support level. So this counter looks very bullish on the technical front for immediate target of 1300 to 1400 on the high side.
Viewers also need to keep in mind that the April PMI, the early indicators of that was that it's at a 14-year high. Remember, Axis Bank and ICICI Bank and State Bank of India are corporate lenders. Essentially, they play the capex expansion part in the Indian economy, and all those manufacturing companies, all those SMIs, all those mediums and small enterprises who are expanding and taking credit from loans from such banks are the ones pushing this wonderful credit growth, as well as stock price action on banks such as Axis, SBI and ICICI. If SBI is at a record high, there is absolutely no doubt in the minds of many analysts that you will see both ICICI and Axis Bank following suit. We'll pay attention to ACC. Numbers have just come in. A very strong set of fourth quarter profit, 750 crores versus 236 crores year ago. The estimate was 451 crores. So it's a very strong beat. Fourth quarter revenue is at 5400 crores versus 4791 crore rupees. Strong move coming on the EBITDA as well as EBITDA margin, which has improved to 15.5% versus 9.8%. A very quick view on ACC. Swati, what are the charts telling you? Counter in the green after a phenomenal set of numbers.
We have seen a very good rally into the ACC. The technical chart setup is really positive. On a larger degree, if you look towards the monthly and the weekly chart, this particular counter has given the breakout of the previous cluster resistance levels, which comes to 2550 levels, and today it just surpasses that level with the good volumes, decent price momentums, and it's likely to be continued towards the higher level. I believe that we are likely to witness again new all-time high, which was previously quoted nearby 2780-85 levels. On a higher side, I'm looking for a target more than that, up to 3000 levels we can see, because we are getting a fresh breakout level in the coming few trading sessions. So those who are having any long positions, they can definitely hold on for a swing up to 3000 levels on the high side.
Okay, so that's ACC for you from the cement pack after the earnings. Net profit coming in at 748.5 crores versus 236 crores a year ago, and a sharp margin improvement from 9.8% to 15.5%. Very strong earnings coming about as far as ACC is concerned. Also wanted to take your view on Bharat Forge and on MCX. First, let's talk about Bharat Forge. Swati. This stock got into further rally after Bank of America brokerage firm gave a upgrade to a buy rating with a 1450 target price, and the stock is now hovering 7.08% higher at 1308. How would you really look at this one, and do you continue to see a momentum on the higher side?
Yes, definitely. The on Bharat Forge on intraday basis, we have seen a tick up to 7% on an intraday basis. Also, the daily chart suggests that the stock has formed the rounding bottom formations up to the level supports levels derives at 1100 levels. Upside today, it has given a very good resistance level of 1210 levels on the closing basis, and we have seen a very good rally along with the price momentum and the volume momentums are intact. As of now, we are witnessing that the stock is well placed above 1300 psychological resistance levels. If today it's maintained to maintain the positive closing above the same, this rally is likely to be continued towards the 1350 to 1450 levels. So definitely view is positive on this particular stock.
Okay, and the other one I wanted to interestingly discuss, MCX. Now, we do remember that after the earnings and the company missed its Q4 profits, the stock really dropped the most in over 2 months as well. I think about 8% odd or so is what we had seen the drop, and the stock has garnered or clawed back to all of those losses in today's trade, 7.7% higher in trade near the day's high point at 4135. What is behind this momentum, and where do you see the stock headed now?
Yes, monthly chart looks very interesting on MCX. Monthly chart suggests that the stock has given the volume breakout of the previous year's October numbers as such. Also, the price momentums are very strong on the monthly chart. The stock has given the breakout of a flag pattern. Nowadays, we are witnessing that a lot of the patterns formations are coming ahead into the various counters. That's why I'm continuously emphasizing that whenever such kind of a pattern gives the breakout, definitely a new trend gets starts on the technical front. Now, M6 is the one which looks very attractive, and to date has given the new all-time quote up to 4130, 4140 levels. I believe it has a potential to reach up to at least 43 to 4400 levels. So definitely one can go for a long or hold their long positions for immediate target of 4300 levels on the other side.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's now take a detour into the market. We'll focus on how advanced decline ratios are powering up. Remember, today is the last working day for April's F&O expiry, and that is a very, very important milestone on how the Nifty's not only daily but weekly and monthly candles shapes up in the futures market. Needless to add, Nifty PSU banking index is at the record high, 3.5% higher, and is the top performer. All 12 PSU banking stocks are in the green. Pharma index is up 1.38%. Out of the 20, 14 are in the green within the index. How about the NSE 500 index? Okay. Now here is an action which shows that 316 stocks out of 500 are in the green when it comes to the NSE 500. Remember, this is the broadest measure that we track, and the only index in the red today is the realty index, and no one, absolutely no one should be complaining. This is just mild profit booking, ladies and gentlemen. The index for the last 2 days was running up very sharply and is showing a bit of a rest. All-time highs within the NSE 500, ladies and gentlemen, we have about 28 stocks that are at record peak. So 28 on 500 as a percentage of the total index, that is a very critical number. 5.6% of stocks are trading at record highs. I'll name some unusual stocks today. Inox Wind, 633, up 5%. The company's announced a 3-for-1 bonus, and therefore a lot of enthusiasm on the stock. Within the defense pack, Cochin Shipyard, Garden Reach, Hindustan Aeronautics and BDL. These are the 4 stocks that have hit record highs, and the usual names that we've discussed so often: Voltas, United Breweries, Eicher Motors and Hindalco. These are the stocks that are among the 28 on the NSE 500 alone, which are rejoicing fresh peaks. Let's also look at the volume buzzers. That will give us an idea what to discuss with Swati next. Let me just pick up a good name which will add quality to the show. Reddington, okay. Reddington 223, again a record high, 1.3% higher. This breakout, Swati, is on very, very decent volumes. What do you make of the chart?
Yes, Reddington, we have seen a very good rally. Even we have recommended to our clients few days back. This particular stock on the monthly and the weekly charts are really doing very well. From the last 3 to 4 months, we are witnessing that the stock is just trading in the formation of the higher tops and higher bottom. And interesting fact is that from the last 4 months, the stock has not given a breakdown of a 20 days moving average. Every time it has taken a support of the same and just moved ahead on the higher sides. So looking towards such kind of a technical setup, I believe the stock has a very potential to reach up to at least 250 to 300 levels on the higher side. So those who are having any long positions, they can hold on as long as 210 is the immediate support levels. So hold on with a trailing stop loss of 210 for a target of 250 to 300 levels on high side.
Okay. Swati, a market favorite ITC is showing some decent moves, 436. What is your view?
Yes, ITC is really doing very well. In the month of the Jan and Feb, we have seen a very sharp correction from 480 to almost 400 level. And now the stock has just moving ahead, or we are witnessing pullback rally. Now this rally is likely to be sustained only if it's break above 440 level. Now it's trading nearby resistance zones. Once it manages to give the breakout of the same level, then we can see that the pullback rally or turnaround reversal will be confirmed at that point of time. So any move above 440 levels will extend this positive momentum rally towards to 460 to 470 levels. So fresh positions are not recommended at the current market price. Let the stock give the breakout. If not, if the stock comes down any deeps towards to 420 to 400 levels, that level will act as a very good level for the fresh buying. Because downside 400 is acting as a very crucial support level. So by that level, the risk reward ratio will be a very favorable nearby 420 level. So I will suggest to hold on the long positions, but fresh positions are not recommended at the current market price.
Okay, got that. On the earnings front, there's one company that's reacted sharply on the downward side on the earnings, Glenmark Life. That's the stock that I'm talking about. The earnings have just come in, and that's after a week set of earnings the company has reported. Profit after tax has dipped from 146 crores to 98 crores. Revenues for the company have dipped from 621 crores to 537 crores. Margins have also come off from 32.2% to about 26% as well. So all across, do you see some weakness coming in, and the stock has seen almost a nosedive action on the stock market. So 8% right now down. It's a sharp spike on the downward side. Swati, could you look at the charts and tell us how would you really look at Glenmark Life?
Yes, Glenmark Life, I'm witnessing a little bit cautious. My view is little bit cautious on this particular counter because we are continuously witnessing a selling pressure from the last three trading session, and today it has given the breakdown of the immediate support levels, that is 20 DMA, which comes to at around 800 levels. Now looking towards the technical setup and the price and the volume momentum, I believe we are likely to witness more selling pressure or the profit booking sessions, which might take a stocks towards to 700 to 670 levels on the downside. So just wait and watch. If those are having any long positions, they can maintain, but keep a very strict stop loss of a 750. If the today's low get again breakdown comes in, then definitely more selling pressure is likely to be extended towards to 700 to 650.
So that's the kind of view that's coming in on Glenmark Life. Anything else that you're liking in the pharma pack, Swati? And if you can tell us, how are you looking at Sun Pharma, for example, today after that 2.2% move, and how do you also look at Dr. Reddy's, the frontline majors?
Yes, Sun Pharma and this one, Dr. Reddy, looks good on the technical front because on the Dr. Reddy, we have seen that today the stock has touched the feet of the 50 DMA, but somehow it's not able to cross that level. So we'll wait and watch in this particular counter, but definitely this looks good on the technical front. 63 levels, 6300 levels can be seen in the coming few trading sessions, but risk reward is not favorable. So fresh long positions are not recommended at the current market price, but the overall setup is really positive. Coming towards the Sun Pharma, I'm little bit cautious on this particular counter. Why so? Because it's trading or hovering between the 50 and the 100 DMA. It is not giving the breakout of the same level from the last few trading session. The stock is trading in the formation of the lower tops and lower bottoms. So my view is little bit cautious on in this particular counter as well. So I will not recommend fresh long positions, but from the mid cap counter, PPL Pharma really looks good. So on the this particular stock is under the formation of the flag pattern, and I believe that from last 5 to 10 trading sessions, we are witnessing that stock is forming the body of that flag. It is consolidating within the range of a 135 to 145 levels. Once the stock gives the breakout of a 145, we are likely to witness a spurt on the higher side, which might take a counter towards to 160 level. So it is under the formation, but definitely it will be a buy call on the conditional basis. Only above 145, one can go for a long for a target of a 160 to 170 by maintaining a strict stop loss of 135.
Okay, while we are discussing the pharma space, another chart that looks really attractive is Apollo Hospitals. The counter is already up about 1.7%, but the bounce that is coming in with an accompanied rise in open interest is a lot of criticality that adds to the volume. Anything, Swati, that catches your attention as far as Apollo Hospitals is concerned?
Yes, in Apollo Hospital, Shalji, the stock is under the formation of a W-shaped pattern, and it is just under the CD, like we can say, of that pattern. So, upside, I believe that the more 200 points can be seen up to 6,500 to 6,550 levels. To that level, definitely this pullback rally is likely to be continued. Whereas on downside, 6,200 is the immediate support level. So I believe definitely the stock will show some more positive momentum, at least by 200 points on the higher side. So one can hold the long positions as long as 6,200 levels are intact.
Okay, that's the view coming in as far as the pharma space is there. Let's also, it's almost now 3 p.m. We have just 1 hour of trade, half an hour of trade left. We'll just look at some PSU stocks that are creating a lot of momentum on the market, primarily from the railway space. The move is now on RVNL, 286.60, about 1% higher. You have rights moving about 1.4% higher at 684.50, and a smart set of moves coming in on Titagarh 3.9% higher, Container Corporation 3.1% higher, and of course a smart move on IRFC 0.5% higher, 149.75. Swati, anything that catches your fancy within the railway pack?
Yes, on the in the railway pack counter, textile looks very good in this particular sector as such. The stock from the last two trading session has given the breakout of the all important moving averages, say whether it's a 50 or the 100 DMA. The volumes are really increasing. In the month of the February, whatever the volume we have seen, the same volume has been raised today with the price momentum. So whenever the volume and the price goes in hand, definitely the setups looks very positive on the technical front, or the strengths get confirmed on the higher side. So looking towards the technical setup, I believe that this rally is likely to be continued or sustained up to at least 210 to 220 levels. So one can go for a long position at the current market price as well by keeping a stop loss for 180 for a target of 220 to 225 levels.
Okay, got that. Well, thank you so much, Swati, for being with us on the show and discussing with us so many stock ideas for all our viewers. Truly appreciate on Business Today Television. Viewers, now it's time to also welcome our other guest on the show. Osho Krishnan now joins in on the show with us. He's already logged in. He's a senior research analyst at Angel One. Welcome, Osho, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Do tell us how are you assessing this expiry session, and what does it indicate for the new expiry that begins tomorrow?
Very good afternoon, everyone. Well, firstly, it has been a very fabulous expiry day, because I was not expecting Nifty to breach the zone of 22,500, but the time it has started surging above 22,500, that has given the market a lot of thrust on the positive front. So I'm expecting that from here onwards, there can be only one way for our market, that is northwards. And I'm expecting a very strong movement in the overall benchmark index. Now the undertone was obviously positive in the broader market, but now with today's breakout in the benchmark index, I am expecting that our benchmark has headed for a new highs in the new expiry. So strong bullish sentiments associated to the overall broader market as well.
Okay. Any two stock ideas that
Good
you'd like
afternoon
to
to
give
you,
with us?
Osho, and a very warm welcome.
Very good afternoon. Thank you. Yes, the stock ideas I already have few, but majority of the counters are not favoring the risk reward for the time being because they have encountered a strong surge in the last half an hour or 1 hour kind of a trade. But there are two counters which are looking very positive on the technical chart. One is JSW Steel. JSW Steel has seen a breakout, massive breakout in today's session above hovering above 900 zone. The breakout came around the zone of 880, 885. So I'm expecting with today's momentum, it is expected to surge around the zone of 940 in the follow-up trading session. So JSW is a first buying recommendation, keeping a stop loss of 875. On the higher end, I am expecting a target of nearly 940 to 945. The other counter which is looking very positive is IEX. IEX has been performing very well in the last three sessions, but with today's setup, it has given a consolidation breakout. It has surpassed the previous swing high on a decisive manner. So I'm expecting the upsurge to continue in IEX on the higher end. 164 is the immediate target that I'm expecting for IEX. On the lower end, 153 is the stop loss that one should maintain.
Okay, good afternoon to you, Osho, and a very warm welcome. Yes, the sentiment on the Lal Street has turned suddenly for the better. There is scorching summer all across North India, but calmness and cool minds seem to have prevailed on the Lal Street, and a very nice record move coming in today. Remember, Nifty did nothing all of April, and suddenly on the last day of the FNO expiry, you have a very strong move. What chances that Nifty and Bank Nifty will be hitting record highs in the first week of May?
See, overall, if I have to tell you about the sentiments were obviously turning bullish in the broader market. But with today's setup, because majority of the writing position was happening around the zone of 22,500. But with today's setup, I'm expecting now it will be reaching towards the zone of 22,800 on immediate basis. So in the first week, or let's say in the next week, if I have to say, there is a probability that Nifty can test fresh lifetime highs. So I'm pretty much bullish in benchmark index. But for Bank Nifty, again on the higher end, I am expecting because the higher lifetime highs are very near, about 5 to 600 points is only left. So I'm expecting that as it has filled the bearish gap on the daily time frame, so there can be some kind of consolidation or profit booking because a lot of PSU companies have performed very well in today's session. So there can be some kind of profit booking in the follow-up session. That is what my perception is. But overall trend is with the bull. So I'm expecting the buy on dip approach for Bank Nifty applies here at current levels. 48,000 should be the zone where one should try to buy, and 49,000 remains a major hurdle for Bank Nifty. So this is the range, but buy on dip and sell on rise is the strategy for Bank Nifty for the time.
Okay, needless to add, a strong move that is coming in on Axis Bank post its fourth quarter stunning set of numbers, and the fresh move that started on SBI is something to be looked forward to in the new expiry. Let's also pay attention to Apollo Hospitals again. Just a moment ago, I had marked the stock and it's moved 50 rupees from there, 69.36 for you. Fairly strong uptick happening on the 75-minute chart, and it's 2.14% higher. A very quick view, Osho, from your end on SBI. How are you seeing this digit chain towards 800 and a fresh record high?
The overall SBI was on the radar of all the analysts for the day from the morning, I would say, because in all the shows, SBI was a common topic or a common stock where we all have discussed. So with today's momentum of 5%, it has already given a very strong breakout. But I was expecting that it should consolidate or it should hesitate near the zone of 800. So for me, again, one should wait for some consolidation near 800 odd levels, and then the march for a higher targets of nearly 815 to 818 is still pending in this counter. So one should not be very much aggressive. Yes, the counter has given a very strong breakout, but better to wait for some kind of correction, a minor correction. I am not seeing a bearish view in this counter, but there can be a profit booking that can be seen dragging towards the zone of 790, 800 odd levels. That will be an apt levels to enter into SBI for higher target of nearly 815, 820 for a very short term perspective.
Okay, fair enough. So that's the view coming in on SBI as well. A very strong move can be seen on this counter. Let's shift focus to the broader markets and then see some of the stocks that are actually doing very well over there. Some strong moves can be seen across the board. Hitachi caught my attention. A very strong move on this one, 13% higher in trade for Hitachi. And along with this, Godfrey Phillips is another one that's really moving very, very sharply in trade. About 9% higher can be seen on this as well. Of course, we've discussed MCX. That's another one that's been moving very, very sharply in trade too. Anything between Hitachi, Godfrey Phillips that you'd like to pick for technicals, strong technicals?
See, for Hitachi, if I have to say, it has given a very strong move from the zone of 7,000 and is now hovering around 9,300 odd levels. But the positive thing is that it has been backed by strong volumes. So there has been a strong volumes that has driven it on a higher scale. But from here onwards, there can be some kind of correction because technically, major of the indicators have has entered into a overbought terrain. So there can be some kind of correction towards the zone of 8,800 to 8,500, which should be considered healthy in this counter after the current rally, and that should be providing another opportunity to enter in this counter for a higher target of almost 9,500 for a very short term perspective.
Okay, Osho. Osho, the other space that's been in the buzz is the entire shipbuilding space. Cochin Shipyard, there is no let up again. The stock is about 4.5% higher. Mazagon Dock is 6.5% higher in trade. GRSE, again, a very strong move can be seen on this one too. Shipping Corporation of India has pulled up in trade again today. About 8 to 9% odd kind of a move can be seen on this one as well. How are you looking at the momentum being built again in this space? And which stock would you throw your weight behind now?
See, overall, as you have mentioned, the space is gaining a strong traction from the last three trading sessions. There has been a strong volume-based buying that can be seen, but majority of the counters have already entered into a overbought terrain. So one should have a kind of not to have a complacency in these counters, and some of the counters which is still on the verge of breakout, like Nasdaq, as you have mentioned, it is on the verge of giving a strong breakout. So I'm expecting that the time it witnesses a breakout around the same levels, 2450, 2460 is the breakout zone. Then from there onwards, we can expect another 2 to 300 of rally on immediate basis. But again, there has been a strong movement in the week. It has surged almost 12%. So there can be a breather that can be seen in these counters. So one should obviously trail their stop losses to a higher end and try to ride the momentum until the momentum continues. On the higher end, I am expecting 2700 to be seen on Nasdaq.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now at 3:12. This is about 18 minutes away from the end of what has been a fantastic day, and the drawing of close of the Nifty's FNO expiry. Strong moves now. Stocks such as Blue are now at day's high, 1468. This, I believe, will also be a record high. Across the board, indices are hitting intraday highs, which basically is pointing to pent-up demand, which is going to explode tomorrow morning. In terms of gains, you have the Nifty 100 index 1.7% higher. The Nifty 200 index is also 1.7% higher. Both of these indices are at day's high. The FMCG index at 54,334 is also moving fairly sharply at day's high, and this is how the momentum is at the moment. A lot of ETFs which are linked to these indices are posting fresh intraday highs, and the bank nifty now just at kissing distance of about 48,500, up about 308 points. Let's look at Carborundum Universal. This is a stock that has hit record highs, 1421 for you, and it's rallying for the fifth day in a row. Normally I avoid taking technical calls on stocks that have shot up sharply, but today's breakout resulting in a record high is something special, simply on price and volume. Osho, what is Carborundum Universal's chart telling you?
See, overall in the week, we have seen approximately 13% kind of a surge. As you have mentioned that in the past 5 days, there has been a strong up move in this counter, but technically it has seen a very strong V-shaped recovery in the last 2 to 3 trading weeks. So from here onwards, one can expect the higher potential target to be somewhere around the zone of 1440 to 1460 for the time being. Overall, this counter, as you have mentioned, has already seen a strong rally. So a technical perspective, it has entered into a overbought terrain. But looking at the momentum and the volume that it is gauging in today's session, I'm expecting that on the higher end, another 20 to 40 points of a move can be seen in this counter in the following day.
Okay. Now 3:15, just 15 minutes of trade left. Whole host of frontline counters are at day's high. Coal India 2.4% higher, 454.85. Within the ports sector, Adani Ports, which is the market leader, 1335, 1.2% higher. The power space dominated by Tata Power, 432, 0.7% higher. Remember, power demand, especially across North India, has surged to its highest level ever in the first 15 days of April, and that's reflecting very well on stock prices. ONGC, despite the fall in crude oil prices, is about 1% higher to 88.55, and Idea Cellular, ladies and gentlemen, has changed a digit, now 9% higher at 14 rupees. I would presume that this is the top gainer within the F&O space today. It will just be clear in a while. Most probably, yes. That is the number that's coming in front of me, 9% higher. I just wish to mark volumes, and then we'll discuss Kotak Bank with our friend Osho. Okay. Volumes on Idea Cellular are somewhere in the vicinity of about Idea Cellular volumes. We'll just mark it. Let's discuss Kotak first. Osho 10% down, 1644. This was the first circuit that came in, and then a very decent volume, 10,500 crores. What are the charts telling you?
See, overall in Kotak Bank, there can be some uncertainties that can prevail for another 1 to 2 trading session. But technically, if I have to say, then 1600 zone is a very strong support zone. Historically also, it has provided cushion to Kotak Bank for almost 5 times. So I'm expecting that from here onwards, there can be some kind of breather or consolidation that can be seen in Kotak Bank, which will be providing opportunity, because overall it is being a large cap bank. So definitely the trend or the sentiments with Kotak Bank are pretty much bullish. With such corrections, like the same thing was happened on technical basis, I am saying, with HDFC Bank also. So it has taken a dip for 1 or 2, and after that it has consolidated around the base zone. So for Kotak Bank, same thing is happening. Around 1600 is a very strong support. If it consolidates here for the next 2 to 3 trading sessions, then it will be providing an opportunity for short-term investors to accumulate the counter. And on the higher end, approximately 1750 to 1800 will be the immediate target for short-term investors.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now have earnings. Metals giant Vedanta, fourth quarter consolidated net profit is down to 1370 crores versus 1888 crores. Remember, the counter had shot up very sharply. It's now undergoing bouts of profit booking, already down 0.5% at 380 220. We don't have much details so far. Also, the earnings boy Laurus Labs, disappointment here. Fourth quarter profit has slipped to 75 crore rupees from 107 crore rupees a year ago, although revenue is up at 1440 crores versus 1388 crores. This is how prices are moving at as far as earnings are concerned. The point I want to highlight on Kotak, in the morning we had requested you, or maybe very gently suggested, that this was not a time to go short on Kotak after a 10% downtick. That logic seems to be have held. Now the only point I want to make is that at a multi-month low, at least a 2-year low, Kotak Mahindra Bank is now trading at a 31% discount to its 5-year price to book average of 3.8 times. The price to book today is 2.6 times. Till yesterday it was somewhere like 2.7 times. The 5-year average is 3.8. So it's at a 31% discount. This is probably not a time to go short on Kotak Bank. The problems that had happened were because of in the year FY23, when Kotak had launched its 811 account, the transactions had surged on its digital site, and at that point of time there were some problems in maintaining books for the digital thing, of which the action has been taken today. I am sure a lot of changes have happened. The limited point is, if you are not buying here, at least don't go short. Sakshi.
Right. Since Shell was mentioning Vedanta, I was looking at the entire metal space, and one stock caught my attention, and that is Moil. That's rallying very, very sharply here. I think it's 13% higher in trade now. 438 kind of levels can be seen on MOIL right now. A very strong surge. It's now at the day's high point as well. Osho, what do you foresee in this kind of a move, and would you be chasing it?
See, overall, looking at the momentum, one should try to ride the momentum, but definitely should keep in mind that they have to trail their stop losses, because if I have to tell you on the technical front, it has surged approximately 60% in the current month. So that has already given a very strong movement in this counter, and post such kind of a rally, there are chances of counter taking a breather or profit booking. Those who have taken positions at a lower levels of, let's say, 360, 350, where we have already witnessed a breakout. So those people will start taking their money off the table from oil. But overall, the momentum still prevails, because we have seen a decent number of volumes in last 3 trading sessions. So one should definitely try to ride the momentum, keeping a stop losses on a higher basis. For now, for a very shorter duration, the immediate support or immediate stop loss, advisable stop loss, is around 414 odd levels, and once it breaches below, then 390 is the next potential target on the lower end.
Okay, and metal space, Osho is also clearly watching out, because JSW Steel is what he had also recommended at the start of the show, at the start of his joining in. 2.5% higher right now for even JSW Steel as of now. Are you also looking at the cement basket, Osho, and do you see any names here which one can really look at? Of course, we've been looking at ACC, we discussed that after the earnings, but yesterday it was Ambuja that was soaring higher. Some of those mid-cap names also flying away. How would you really look at the entire cement pack, and where would you tilt your focus?
The overall cement counter are looking very positive. There are some kind of correction in majority of the counters in today's session, but if I have to tell you about till yesterday, there has been a strong traction in Ambuja Cement, Grasim. So still the momentum is still intact in these counters. Any kind of dip, for example, Ambuja Cement is something which I was tracking in the last session. So I'm expecting that any kind of traction or any kind of cool off towards the zone of 620 to 624 should be acting as a very strong demand zone or support zone, and from there onwards we can expect the upward rally to continue towards the zone of 660 on immediate basis. Overall, the cycle of higher highs, higher lows are still intact in majority of the cement space, and any kind of blip should be auguring well for the buyers.
Okay, we'll pay attention to TVS Motors. I think there is a digit change here as well. The counter is now at 2007. The all-time high is fairly high at the moment, which is 2300 rupees. But the price was ticking away merrily, so I thought I'll mark. I also want to see what Tata Power's all-time high is. This is at 433, and this one seems yes. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see a fresh move coming in on Tata Power. For the last 5 plus 5, 10 trading sessions, we've seen the stock remain sideways, caught between a 15-point trading range, the high being 455 and the low being 420. So Tata Power is something that you need to look at. I also want to see the positioning of the Nifty. We are now 3-4 minutes away from close. Okay, the gap, ladies and gentlemen, which I had highlighted in the morning between April 12th and April 15th, when it had opened down the next day, the Nifty had a 70-point gap. That, ladies and gentlemen, has been filled. We are now at the highest level on the index from 12th of April onwards. So this is again a 12-13 day high as far as the index is concerned, and there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that in the early part of last week of April, you will see a record high, which was 22,775. That will be breached, driven by State Bank of India, Axis Bank, a host of metal counters, and some of them also steel. Jindal Steel and Power, to you, Osho, in the dying moments of trade, desperate for a record close. What's your view?
See, for as I have mentioned that all the cement, all the steel counters are looking positive. So JSPL is also looking very positive on the technical chart, approximately hovering near the zone of 940. So from here onwards also, one can definitely see some upside movement towards 952, followed by 968 levels in JSPL. Overall trend is very positive. On the lower end, 920 and 918 should be acting as a very strong support zone for short-term traders.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, time to wrap up a day which has been fantastic. Remember, we are on the fag end of Nifty's monthly expiry. The top performing stock on the index today was Axis Bank. It's definitely going to hit on all-time high fairly soon. 6% higher after stunning set of numbers, 1128. Axis Bank has also prompted State Bank of India to hit a fresh record high, 813, 5% higher. And this is against the backdrop of a debacle that's happened on private sector rival Kotak Mahindra Bank, the worst performing stock not only in the Nifty but in the banking sector and in the F&O, down about 10% at 1645. It's been a day of very sharp increase in volumes, of very sharp movement in the broader market. If you see the advanced decline ratios, we are at 1211 stocks in the green, just 900 in the red. We track 19 indices for you, all 19 in the green, and the advanced decline ratio on the Nifty 500 is 3:2. All around, except for Kotak, it has been a fantastic day. Next week, you will see a record peak in the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. Sakshi.
Right. So, Osho, last word from you. Any BTST trades that while going away you'd like to share, as well as the outlook on the markets for tomorrow? What is the strategy you'd recommend?
See, overall, for tomorrow, there is a very bullish sentiment that is associated to market, and it is closing at a very strong note. So I'm expecting that tomorrow also there can be strong momentum to persist in our market. So overall, buy on dips approximately 22,500 now should be acting as a support zone, and on the higher end, we will be seeing the targets of 22,700 to 800 in a very short-term time frame. So overall, sentiments are bullish. There are many counters which are looking very positive to me even at current juncture. First one is Sri Ram Finance is looking very positive. So one should try to gauge momentum in Sri Ram Finance. It is currently hovering around the zone of 2480, 2470 kind of a levels. But from here onwards, we can expect a upward rally towards 25 20 followed by 25.60 in the next trading session. While on the downside, 24.20 is the advisable stop loss.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much, Osho, for being with us on this edition. Then, time to wind up this special edition for all our viewers. It's panned out to be a fantastic day of trade. 159 points higher as far as the Nifty is concerned, 22,559. Although we've come below the 22,600 mark, which we had crossed in the intraday levels today. But a fairly strong move across the board, led by the banking majors, both private names like Axis Bank and PSU names like SBI that stole the show in trade today. Dr. Reddy's, Nestle, Hero Motors, Sun Pharma, JSW Steel were the other top movers as far as the Nifty moves are concerned. On the downside, however, drags came in from Kotak Mahindra Bank, that is closing in at 1,644 rupees odd, at about 10% lower in trade, 10.7% lower. LTI, Mindtree, Titan, Hindustan Unilever, SBI Life, Tata Consumer Products were the other big laggards. On the F&O space, Vodafone Idea closes with 10% move on the upside. MCX follows with a sharp 9% up move. Bharat Forge, Axis Bank, Aditya Birla Capital were the other big movers in the F&O space. The PSU basket also continued to steal the show in trade today. Very strong moves coming in. So Container Corp, REC, BHEL, NTPC, Coal India, these were the other strong moves that we actually saw on this one too. Both the mid cap and the small cap indices also rose in trade today, with small caps definitely doing better. A 0.8% of a surge could be seen on this one as well. Sectoral action already wrapped up at the by Shell right here. So we'll wrap it up at that. Many thanks for joining us, viewers, on this very special day of trade. But do stay tuned as we continue to track all the news from the world of business and finance for you. Until then, it's a goodbye from Shell and me right here on Business Today.
It was 17 years ago that Idea Cellular was listed on the bourses, and the telecom story in India since then has been punctuated by many events and milestones. And I believe that the successful conclusion of India's largest FPO of 18,000 crores marks one such turning point for the Indian telecom industry. The fact that so many marquee investors participated in this equity issuance is a testament to the government's vision of a digital India. The emphatic oversubscription of the FPO